Today is March 22nd, 2026. It's 11 o'clock at night on Arizona time. The first topic is Robin Williams. Robin McLaurin Williams. Bravo 4. Hey, Bravo 4, is that who I think it is? Is that Middleton? The Bravo 4, is that Middleton? Is the question. Yes, okay, hold on. Okay. Robin McLaurin Williams was born July 21st, 1951 in Chicago, Illinois. He was an American actor and comedian known for his improvisational skills and the wide variety of characters he created spontaneously and portrayed in drama and comedy films. He is regarded as one of the greatest comedians of all time. Williams received numerous accolades, including the Academy Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, and 6 Golden Globe Awards, as well as 5 Grammy Awards and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards. He was awarded the Cecil B. DeMille Award in 2005. Never heard of it. He lived to be 63 years old. He ended up passing away in Paradise Cay, California. Never heard of it. On August 11, 2014. So his first movie, let's see here. Oh, okay. His first movie was in 1977 called Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses? And I didn't know that, but his second movie was called Popeye. He played Popeye in the movie Popeye in 1980, which was filmed on the island of Malta in the Mediterranean Sea. Then he was in some movie called The World According to Garp, never heard of it. The Survivors, Moscow on the Hudson, The Best of Times, Club Paradise, Seize the Day, Good Morning Vietnam, that's hilarious. The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, never heard of it. Portrait of a White Marriage, never heard of it. Dead Poets Society, very good movie. Cadillac Man, it was okay. Awakenings, never heard of it. Shakes the Clown, never heard of it. Dead Again. The Fisher King. Popeye was good, I just saw that tonight. It's free on YouTube with ads. The Fisher King, I can't remember that. Hook, that was okay. Ferngully, yeah. Aladdin, he was hilarious as Aladdin, or as the genie. He was in the movie Toys, I don't remember that. Mrs. Doubtfire, I've seen part of it. Being Human, 9 Months. Tu Wong Fu, thanks for everything. Julie Newmar, I don't remember that. Jumanji, The Birdcage, The Truth About Cats and Dogs, Jack, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, which is a sequel to Aladdin. Whoops. The Secret Agent, Hamlet, Father's Day, Deconstructing Harry, Flubber, Good Will Hunting. That was a good movie. What Dreams May Come, Patch Adams. I really like Patch Adams. Piano Armand. I'm assuming you're from America, but whatever. Jacob the Liar. That was a good movie. Bicentennial Man, Get Bruce. What game is this? What game is this? This game is, we're trolling for trolls, okay? We're searching for you, probably. AI, Artificial Intelligence. 1 Hour Photo, that was pretty psycho, really good movie. Death to Smoochie, I don't remember. Insomnia, I don't remember. The Final Cut. The House of D. You're an American Full-Blooded. What city are you from, you silly freak? Or silly goose. Robots, The Big White, Aristocrats, The Night Listener. Hey, Bravo 4, you're a, if someone calls me a bad word, you have my permission to kick them out for 24 hours. Chicago, I believe you. guy says he's from Chicago. Hey, bravo for it. This guy says he's from Chicago. I flip and believe him. Robots, the Big White, the Aristocrats, the hi Sarah Peak. Sarah Peak, I think you're a dude. No girls watch this channel. So Sarah, what's your real name? Bummed it. Yeah. X Monkey Skull? That's pretty funny. Lashania? I'm from Tennessee. I believe you. I believe you're Tennessee. Knoxville? Man of the Year. That was a good movie. Happy Feet, I don't know. Night at the Museum, I don't remember. License to Wed, August Rush, that was a good movie. Wow. Dirge called some Dirty Zombies map at Peak Gaming. Had so many good memories playing the random people. What? Call of Duty Zombies map. Oh, hey, the Bravo 4, Middleton, that person says I have stickers on my glasses. And we all know there are no stickers on my glasses at all. There's zero. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Bravo 4 doesn't see any. There are no stickers on my glasses. The Night at the Museum, the Battle of the Smithsonian Old Dogs, Happy Feet 2, never heard of it. The Big Wedding, The Butler, The Face of a Boulevard, The Angriest Man in Brooklyn, A Merry Friggin' Christmas. Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, that must be like Chew, absolutely anything, and Once Upon a Studio. So 2023 was his last movie. And let's see. God, man. And he died in 2014. So somehow they made a movie after he died. Low key, I'm a Baltimore Orioles fan. Wait. Monkey Skulls is a Baltimore Orioles fan. TBH. I'm not sure what TBH stands for, but if you're from Baltimore, I believe you. Have you ever heard the song Good Morning Baltimore from the movie Hairspray, this musical? That is a funny song. Okay, wow. So it says that Robin Williams died from suicide. What? I guess I knew that, but how did he commit suicide? Hold on. To be honest, you never heard of that song. Hello, my American brother. General George Washington, 1776. It is I, General George Washington, by decree of the United States Constitution, I hereby order everybody who like. Oh, jeez. This guy. I don't know who you are, but you're funny. Are you born in D.C.? Wow. 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 It says that his primary cause of death was declared as suicide by hanging amid Lewy body dementia, LBD, and other associated factors. Hail George Washington. George Washington. You were born in Westmoreland County, Virginia. Is that where George Washington was born? Okay. We're going to see. George Washington was born in February 27, 1732 in Pope's Creek, Virginia. Pope's Creek is in Westmoreland County, Virginia. So this guy's claiming to be the real guy. I use money with you. Face on it. So the Bravo 4 says, I used money with you, your face on it, in the strip club. Which is $1 bill, right? Oh my goodness. So George Washington was born in Pope's Creek, Westmoreland County, Virginia, British Columbia. He died in Mount Vernon, Virginia, and he's buried in Mount Vernon, Virginia. I'm the real living and breathing George Washington, trust me. Bravo versus I make George rain on Timbos. See how, hey, Bravo 4. See how funny this is? I told you it's hilarious. It is so hilarious. I make them. I highly recommend you look into Washington's 1796 farewell address. He is a genius ahead of his time. Okay. Farewell address. 1790, 1770. Or wait, his farewell address. I highly recommend you. It's from 1796. Okay. Okay. Farewell address. Let's see if I can find it here. Farewell address. Here it is. Here's the farewell address. It's a letter written by President George Washington to his as a valedictory to his friends and fellow citizens after 20 years of public service to the United States. He wrote near the end of the second term of his presidency, before retiring to his home in Mount Vernon in Virginia. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me get to it. Okay, what? I don't. What the heck? Credit so I'm trying to find the actual words because it's just leading up to it. So I'm trying to find. George Washington had wooden teeth and chopped down cherry trees and planted apple seeds. Both of those are myths. I'm not sure. What does TBH stand for? Jeez. To be honest, maybe? I don't know what that means. Okay, of all the dispositions and habits which led to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. In vain would that man claim the tribute of patriotism who should labor or subvert these great pillows of human happiness, these firmest props of the duties of men and citizens. The mere politician equally with the pious man ought to respect and to cherish them. The volume could not trace all their connections with private and public felicity. Let it simply be asked, where is the security for property, for reputation, for life, if the sense of religious obligation desert the oaths which are in the instruments of investigation to courts of injustice? And let us be cautious, indulge the supposition that morality can be maintained without religion, whatever may be conceded to the influence of refined education on minds of peculiar structure, reason, and experience. Both forbid us to expect the national morality can prevail in exclusion of religious principle. He predicted three things that would destroy our democratic republic: political factionalism, geographical sectionalism, and foreign influence. All of three of those, which are happening in high degrees, yeah. Okay, let's see. So that's only part of it. I don't know. I'm trying to find the rest of it. Well, I don't know why they divided it up, but that's only part of it, right? Why does it not have the whole thing? That's too short to be the whole thing. But I'm going on Wikipedia and they chopped it up. I don't know why. Maybe to hide it. They didn't want him to know. That's too short to be the whole thing. Okay, so you said political factionalism. Let me see if I can find that. One question: are you Christian? Are you Christian? Of course I am, you silly goose. let me see if this is it. Mashed potato. Cronus is back with mashed potatoes. This guy. Wow. One of the most referred parts of Washington's letter is his strong support of the importance of religion and morality in promoting private and public happiness and in promoting the political prosperity of the nation. He argues that religious principles promote the protection of property, reputation, life, and honor that are foundations of justice. He cautions against the belief that the nation's morality can be maintained without religion. Washington refers to religious principle as the foundation of a civilized society. He also argues that the American government needs to ensure, quote, the general diffusion of knowledge, unquote, throughout the United States. The government has been created to enforce the opinion of the people, so the opinion of the people should be informed and knowledgeable. Yeah. I already told you preaching politics. I do. Okay, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. Okay, silly goose. Credit and government borrowing. Washington provides strong support for the balanced federal budget, arguing that the nation's credit is an important source of strength and security. He urges the American people to preserve the national credit by avoiding war, avoiding unnecessary borrowing, and paying off any national debt accumulated in times of war as quickly as possible. In times of peace, in times of peace, so that the future generations do not have to take on the financial burdens. Despite his warnings to avoid taking on debt, Washington does state that his belief that sometimes it is necessary to spend to prevent dangers or wars that will cost more if not properly prepared for. At these times, he argues it is necessary for the people to cooperate by paying taxes to cover these precautionary expenses. He emphasizes that how important it is for the government to be careful in choosing the items that will be taxed, but also tells American people that no matter how hard the government tries, there will never be a tax which is not inconvenient and unpleasant to those who must pay it. Foreign Relations and Free Trade. Washington dedicates his large part of his farewell address to discussing foreign relations and that the dangers of permanent alliances between the United States and foreign nations, which he views as foreign entanglements. He advocates a policy of good faith and justice towards all nations, again making reference to proper behavior based upon religious doctrine and morality. He urges the American people to avoid long-term friendly relations or rivalries with any nation, arguing that attachments with an animosity towards other nations will only cloud the government's judgment in its foreign policy. He argues that the long-standing poor relations will only lead to unnecessary wars due to the tendency to blow minor offenses out of proportion when committed by nations viewed as enemies of the United States. He continues this argument by claiming that that alliances are likely to draw the United States into wars that have no justification and no benefit to the country beyond simply defending the favored nation. Alliances, he warns, often lead to poor relations with nations who feel that they are not being treated as well as Americans' allies and threaten to influence the American government into making decisions based upon the will of their allies instead of the will of the American people. Washington makes an extended reference to the dangers of foreign nations who will seek to influence the American people and government. Nations who may be considered friendly as well as nations considered enemies will equally try to influence the government to do their will. Real patriots, unquote, he warns, who, quote, resist the intrigues, unquote, of foreign nations may find themselves suspected and odious, I'm not sure what that means, unquote, in the eyes of others. Yet he urges the people to stand firm against such influences all the same. He portrays those who attempt to further such foreign interests as becoming the, quote, tools and dupes, unquote, of those nations, stealing the applause and praise of their country away from the, quote, real patriots, unquote, while actually working to, quote, surrender, unquote, American interests to foreign nations. Kronos. Washington goes on to urge the American people to take advantage of their isolated position in the world and to avoid attachments and entanglements in foreign affairs, especially those of Europe, which he argues have little or nothing to do with interests of America. To be prepared for war is one of the most effectual means of preserving peace. That's what George Washington said. He always it makes no sense for American people to become embroiled in European affairs when their isolated position and unity allow them to remain neutral and focus on their own affairs. He argues that the country should avoid permanent alliances with all foreign nations, although temporary alliances during the times of extreme danger may be necessary. He states that current treaties should be honored but not extended. Washington wraps his foreign policy stance by advocating free trade with all nations, arguing that trade links should be established naturally and the role of government should be limited to ensuring staple trade, defending the rights of American merchants, and any provisions necessary to ensure the conventional use of trade. Addresses intentions. Washington uses the portion of the address to explain that he does not expect his advice to make any great impression upon the people or to change the course of American politics, but he does hope that the people will remember his devoted service to his country. Defense of Proclamation of Neutrality. Washington then explains that reasoning behind the Proclamation of Neutrality, which he made during the French Revolutionary Wars, despite the standing Treaty of Alliance with France, he explained that the United States had a right to remain neutral in the conflict and that the correctness of that decision, quote, has been virtually admitted by all, unquote, nations since justice and humanity required him to remain neutral during the conflict, he argues, and the neutrality was also necessary to allow the new government a chance to mature and gain enough strength to control its own affairs. Closing thoughts. Washington closes his letter to the American people by asking them to forgive any failures that may have occurred during his service to the country, assuring them that they were due to his weaknesses, by no means intentional. The sentences express his excitement about joining his fellow Americans as a private citizen in the free government they created together during his 45 years of public service. 45 years of public service, wow. Washington's farewell address is considered to be one of the most important documents in American history and the foundation of the Federalist Party's political doctrine. Washington later accepted a commission from President John Adams, despite his stated desire to retire from public service. He also didn't. General George Washington, 1776, says he also didn't believe in political parties. Despite his stated desire to retire from public service, as the senior officer of a provisional army formed to defend the nation against possible invasion by French forces during the Quasi-War. Wow. Is that a Puerto Rican flag? What kind of flag is that, George Washington? It looks like, I don't recognize it. It looks like Czech Republic or Puerto Rico or something. God sent me here to tell you, keep going. He is watching. Everything will be all right now. Washington held true to his statements in his farewell address despite spending months organizing the officer corps of the Provisional Army and declined suggestions that he return to public office in the presidential election of 1800. Political parties, here's what George Washington said. Political parties divide the nation, prioritizing party interests over the common good and enabling, quote, cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men, unquote, to seize power. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Yes, Robin Williams is so funny. I think the eyeglasses is brand new. These are brand new eyeglasses. So you are correct. Horus Quijano. Alliances with foreign nations. Washington's hope that the United States would end permanent alliances with foreign nations was realized in 1800 with the Convention of 1800, the Treaty of Morte-Fontaine, which officially ended the 1778 Treaty of Alliance in exchange for ending the Quasi-War and establishing most favored nation trade relations with Napoleonic France. In 1823, Washington's foreign policy goals were further realized in the Monroe Doctrine, which promised non-interference in Europe affairs so long as the nations of Europe did not seek to colonize or interfere with the newly independent Latin American nations of Central and South America. The United States did not enter into any permanent military alliances with foreign nations until the 1949 North Atlantic Treaty, which has formed NATO. One single man turned Philippines into the beautiful country it is today. Oh, that's the Filipino flag. Okay, I recognize it now. Only rich people can afford that glasses. Here in the Philippines, so much corrupt Congress. Yeah, I've heard that. Reading in Congress, Philadelphia residents signed a petition in January 1862 during the American Civil War requesting that Congress commemorate the 130th anniversary of Washington's birth by reading his farewell address, quote, in one or the other of the House of Congress, unquote. It was first read in the House of Representatives in February 1862, and reading Washington's address became a tradition in both houses by 1899. The House of Representatives abandoned the practice in 1984. Wow. But the Senate continues this tradition. Washington's birthday is observed by selecting a member of the Senate to read the address aloud on the Senate floor, alternating between political parties each year since 1896. Additionally, some senators may choose to make brief remarks and commentary before reading that speech. After finishing, the readers may make an entry into a black, leather-bound journal maintained by the Secretary of the State upon finishing. During Strom Thurmond's filibuster of the Civil Rights Act of 1957, George Washington's farewell address was read by Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond. We salute MacArthur for saving the Philippines. Okay, that's good. Yes. According to political journalist John Avlon, the farewell address was, quote, once celebrated as a civic scripture, more widely reprinted than the Declaration of Independence, unquote, but adds that it, quote, is now almost forgotten, unquote. He suggested that it had long been, quote, eclipsed in the national memory, unquote, until the Broadway musical Hamilton brought it back to popular awareness in the song one last time, where lines are sung by Washington and Hamilton from the end of the address. Wow. MacArthur was a great example of a true American leadership. That's what General George Washington said. Wow. So I'm learning about George Washington, and so this farewell address, is at one time seen more popular than the Declaration of Independence. Well, hello, what is this life about? Shia. Sorry, I cannot translate content that promotes or attempts to influence political positions or elections. You can't translate? It's about freedom. Bro, meet me outside. I have some cigarettes. What? Wow. Freedom. Yep, the farewell address is up there with common sense. Yeah. Farewell address, a letter. Wow. What's weird is when I pull up George Washington's farewell address, it talks about it, but it doesn't have the whole thing. Common Sense, I believe, is still the first or second most sold book in America. Wow. I think the Bible is number one, but whatever. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't show. It just gives a summary. Isn't that weird? Portrait of George. Wow. Yeah, it's number 2 after the Bible. Exactly. The Bible is number 1. That's what I heard. So I saw a meme recently, and I don't know if it's a direct quote. It said something like, if George Washington lost, he would be a traitor, but if he becomes a hero. So if the United States or the 13 original colonies would have lost to England in the Revolutionary War, George Washington, everybody would have been charged with treason and probably executed. But because they win, he's a hero. So it depends on who wins, depends on who dies after the war. So luckily, America won. Here is the link to the full farewell address if you need it. Okay, send it. What's the link? That's interesting. Yeah. Colton Miller said, "What's up, beautiful people? Much love." So Colton, where are you from, dude? You're from America? Are you from Chicago? Are you from Washington, D.C.? So, Rocky Mountains. Are you from Colorado, Denver? Are you from Telluride, Colorado? Are you from Four Corners? Rocky Mountains? I thought the Rocky Mountains would be a whole lot rockier than this. That Denver's full of crap, man. Jesus loves you all so much. He's coming back soon. Have faith and a relationship with him, and you'll be saved. Spread this message. Yeah, we all know that. Thank you. That's common knowledge. The second coming of the Messiah will be soon. He is coming back soon. We know that. We read the book. It's number 1. Jesus is coming back soon. Choose him now and not later. Amen. Amen. So be it. So hopefully sooner than later with these current global tensions. Yeah. He will be coming back soon. Probably in our lifetime. If we're young. And if we survive all the violence. Oh, I think I found it. Okay. Okay. Here is the internet says Harry Potter books sold better than Common Sense. Maybe. Yeah. I can't read. Okay. George Washington's farewell address here. Friends and fellow citizens, the period for a new election of a citizen to administer the executive government of the United States being not far distant, and the time actually arrived when your thoughts must be employed, designating the person who is to be clothed with the important trust, it appears to me proper, especially as it may conduce to a more distinct expression of the public voice, that I should now apprise you of the resolution I have formed to decline being considered among the number of those out of whom a choice is to be made. I beg you at the same time to do me this justice, to be assured that this resolution has not been taken without a strict regard to all the considerations appertaining to the relation for which binds a dutiful citizen to his country, and that in withdrawing the tender of service, which silence is my situation, might imply I am influenced by no diminution of zeal for your future interest, no deficiency of grateful respect for your past kindness, but am supported by a full conviction that the step is compatible with both. When you go by population, Common Sense is still up there with the Bible. My bad, forgot to mention the population part. Thank you, brother. May the Lord bless you and forgive you of your sins. The acceptance, yeah, sorry, the farewell address has Old English style grammar. It is a learning curve. The acceptance of and continuance hitherto in the office to which your suffrages have twice called me have been a uniform sacrifice of inclination to me inclination to the opinion of duty, and to a deference of what appeared to be your desire, in constantly I constantly hoped that it would have been much earlier in my power, consistently with motives which I was not at liberty to disregard, to return to that retirement from which I had been reluctantly drawn. The strength of my inclination to do this previous to the last election had even led to the preparation of an address to declare it to you, but mature reflection on the then perplexed and critical posture of our affairs with foreign nations, and the unanimous advice of persons entitled by my confidence, impelled me to abandon the idea. I rejoice that the state of your concerns, external as well as internal, no longer renders the pursuit of inclination incompatible with the sentiment of duty or propriety, and am persuaded whatever partiality may be retained for my service, that in the present circumstances of our country you will not disapprove my determination to retire. The impressions with which I first undertook the arduous trust and explained on the proper occasion, in the discharge of this trust, I will only say that I have, with good intentions, contributed towards the organization and administration of the government the best exertions of which a very fallible government was capable. Okay, yeah, okay. No unconscious in the outset of the inferiority of my qualifications, experience in my own eyes, perhaps still more in the eyes of others, has strengthened the motives to difference of myself, and every day the increasing weight of years admonishes me more and more than the shade of retirement is as necessary to me as it will be welcome. Satisfied that, if any circumstances have given peculiar value to my services, they were temporary, I have to consolation to believe that while choice and prudence invite me to quit the political sense, patriotism does not forbid it. In looking forward to the moment which is intended to terminate the career of my public life, my feelings do not permit me to suspend the deep acknowledgement of that debt of gratitude which I owe to my beloved country for the many honors it has conferred upon me, still more for the steadfast confidence with which it has supported me, and for the opportunities I have thence enjoyed of manifesting my inviolable attachment by services faithful and persevering, though in usefulness unequal to my zeal. If benefits have resulted to our country from these services, let it be always be remembered to your praise, and as instructive example of our annals, that under circumstances in which the passions agitated in every direction were liable to mislead, amidst appearances sometimes dubious, vicissitudes of fortune often discouraging, in situation in which none unfrequently want of success has countenanced the spirit of criticism, the constancy of your support was the essential prop of the efforts and a guarantee of the plans by which they were effected. Profoundly penetrated with this idea, I shall carry it with me to my grave as a strong incitement to unceasing vows that heaven may continue to you the choicest tokens of its beneficence, that your union and brotherly affection may be perpetual, that the free constitution, which is the work of your hands, may be sacredly maintained, that its administration in every department may be stamped with wisdom and virtue, that in fine, the happiness of the people of these states under the auspices of liberty may be complete, but by so a careful of preservation and so prudent a use of this blessing as will acquire to them the glory of recommending to the applause, the affection, and adoption of every nation which is yet a stranger to it. Hereby, wow, wow. This just goes on for such a long time that I'm I can't read it all. I mean, it would take an hour or more to read. So even in China, they teach children the cherry tree story of honesty about Washington. Wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna stop reading it because it still has like an hour or two of reading, I guess, and it's interesting and hard to read. Completely understand, bro. It's a long read. Yeah, I love it, but um, if someone wants to read, I'm surprised that they read this in Congress and the House. I mean, in the Senate and the House, because it's like an hour read or something. If you just stood up and read this, it's probably an hour and a half read or something crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? Okay. So I have to go to sleep. I have had minimal sleep. 2 days ago rode bareback on a horse in the desert for 3 hours, and I hadn't ridden in 30 years. And so my hips, my legs, my back, and my feet are killing me. But then the next day I went and split wood with my uncle for 2 hours from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8. So I am super tired. So I'm gonna end this live and continue it on another day. Good night and have a blessed day tomorrow. My fellow American, I am an American. Continue to show your support for the great nation. I'm born in Maricopa County, Arizona. Yep, see ya, EP 10-4. Okay, good night.